The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The lone wolf, who you thought was a good collaborator because you didn't have the right candidate insights. But once you hired them, it was all hoarding info, declining meetings, and howling at the full moon? But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can go deeper than just the resume to find you a perfect fit. By using insights from the LinkedIn network to give you a short list of best fit candidates. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/Pandora.
Spring starts at the Home Depot, and we are bringing the heat to your backyard this season. Fire up the flavor with our wide variety of grills for under $300, like the Next Grill 4-burner gas grill that's perfect for hosting your spring cookout. Then set the scene and turn your outdoor space into the go-to spot with patio sets for every budget. Bring it this season with grills that deliver flavor and patios that set the vibe from the Home Depot. Start your spring with low prices guaranteed at the Home Depot. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
This episode of Phillies Therapy was executive produced by Adam D., Andrew C., Andrew G., Joe M., Mary R., and Owen S. Thank you all for your support. To learn more about how you can support Phillies Therapy, be an executive producer, or just join our community over on Discord, go to patreon.com/Phillies Therapy. All right, on to the show. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, fanatics of all ages. Welcome to Phillies Therapy, the first of 2 episodes this week. We're calling that in advance because it's a busy week. The last 2 days have seen the Phillies make a couple of important moves. They've seen a looming return creep ever closer for their returning ace. Lots of reasons to be optimistic as the Phillies wrap up spring training and head toward opening day. And so for that very reason, we're going to talk about the last couple of days because some important things did indeed happen. And then later this week, probably tomorrow, you're going to hear from us again for our season preview, where Matt and I will do our usual thing, look ahead to what the season's going to bring, do our usual over-unders, including the now annual over-under contest that we're going to have on our Discord. Before we get to all that, though, of course, yes, let's go back and look over the last couple of days where the biggest news of the last couple of days over the weekend. The Phillies did something that was nearly unprecedented. They reworked Cristopher Sanchez's deal in light of his incredible, enormous breakout. The Phillies had originally signed him to a deal that was only going to pay him about $22 million over the whole course of the deal back about 2 years ago, which at the time even looked team-friendly. And of course, since he's emerged as a Cy Young runner-up and one of the very best pitchers in the sport, possibly the 3rd best left-handed pitcher in the sport right now, top 5, maybe at worst. It looked even worse in hindsight. It looked like it was borderline criminal. So you know what the Phillies did? They're like, all right, tell you what, we'll guarantee the original options we had on that deal and give you 2 more, plus another new option. It guarantees Chris Sanchez an additional roughly $60 million to make it about 107 all told through 2032. It's a proper reward for somebody who has truly turned his game into one that deserves recognition among the elites in this game. We'll also talk about Zack Wheeler, of course, that looming ace who may be returning quicker than any of us expected at the start of the offseason. And to do all of that and to help me out, let me welcome in my co-host. He is the Athletics Phillies beat writer for The Athletic. For The Athletic. He is Matt Gelf. Matt, good morning. How are you?
It's good to be home. I've seen the forecast for Thursday. It looks amazing. Might be the warmest home opener in Phillies history. I'm sure our friend Matt Albertson will find something from 1898 when the Phillies must have played in warmer weather. But it's good to be home and excited for the season start. But you're right, Paul. I mean, a lot happened in the last few days of spring training, and Cristopher Sanchez's contract, sponsored by Ghost Energy Drink, was probably one of the bigger developments. And I want to make clear, like, I don't think that this was like, this is not a truly, this is not a totally altruistic, magnanimous gesture by the Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
I think they saw an opportunity to get 2 more years on the deal at what they believe will be either, you're better than market rate. And we're talking about, and I keep getting the years confused because I don't even expect any of us to be alive at this point, but 2031,
2032 is not a real year.
Yeah, 2031 and 2032 are now, essentially 30 million per year for Sanchez. He'll be in his age 33 and 34 seasons, I think. And that's the reaction's been interesting. And I'm not just talking about the reaction online. I'm talking about the reaction from within the industry, like what I've heard from other teams and other agents. One, at first it was confusion because, when I reported that the new guarantee was 107 million, I think the Phillies took exception with the idea that they ripped up the deal and gave him a new one.
Okay.
And to me, like, I think it was weird in how it was announced, right? It was announced as a new 6-year extension. So the Phillies will now argue that it's not that, because they're saying, well, he's making the same money, basically. It's the same contract, the original contract. We just added on, we guaranteed the option years and we added on 2 years at the end. And I would say that that's a pretty significant, if you don't want to call it a new 6-year extension, fine. You want to call it a restructuring or a reworked deal, but that's significant. I mean, you guaranteed 2 team options 3 and 4 years in advance. Mm-hmm. And I get it. Dave Nabrowski's like, at this point, that's kind of like a no-brainer for us. Well, sure. Right now, yeah. I mean, like, what happens if something, God forbid, if Sanchez is hurt or just, falls off a cliff here in the next few years, then they probably wouldn't be exercising those options. I don't know. Like, why now? I don't know. I think it's cool that they rewarded it, what Sanchez has done. I think obviously they have baseball reasons for doing it. I don't know. I think I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm still not, because it didn't have to be done.
No.
From a baseball perspective, like, maybe not the best business. From an overall perspective, taking care of your players, rewarding a guy, pretty good. Like, I think it'll be noticed. I think it was almost like too noticed. I think that's why the Phillies, like, I think other teams were, especially other owners, maybe were kind of pushing back and being like, why are you doing this? This is setting a precedent. And it's not unprecedented. I know that Cristopher Sanchez's agent, Gene Motto, said that, and I used that in my story. And there's 2 other instances that I can tell that are sort of like this, and I don't have the exact terms in front of me, but the Astros did something similar with Jose Altuve. They guaranteed club options well ahead of time and restructured a deal. And I do believe that the Royals also did it with Salvador Perez.
Sal Perez, he's the one I think of, yeah.
Yes, there was something like that along those lines. So it's not truly, truly unprecedented. It is certainly unusual, certainly something they did not have to do. And I don't know. I mean, like, I guess you can be in 2 camps and look at it, like, in the heart of efficiency, in ruthless running a business, running a team, maybe not the best decision. From the other side of it, rewarding a guy, showing your commitment, taking advantage maybe of a situation where you feel like you can lock him down even more, treating people like they should be treated. I don't know. I mean, like, I think I know where you come down on this. Where do you come down on this?
Yeah. Oh, you definitely know where I come down on this. Being as pro-labor as I am, I think this is huge. And I think this is tremendous. I hope it sets a precedent, because when we talk about teams getting these friendly deals, right, that usually means it's advantageous, not for the rest of the roster necessarily, but for the margins. That's usually the subtext here. Now, sometimes there are teams that go out and actually spend some of that quote unquote saved money in other places, but it's really hard to balance that out in a ledger. We can kind of assume that some of this money was moved around to different players and say, all right, that's where the $8 million we saved on, year 3 of this one deal we signed went to another free agent. It gets a little bit muddy when we talk about that. From a humanist perspective, I love the idea that a team can look at what a guy has accomplished, understand with a little bit of a wink that, yeah, okay, we kind of saw something coming, but even this has exceeded our expectations, and have been like, no, we're going to take care of this before it ever has a chance of becoming a problem and making one of the better players on our team even think about being disgruntled. I remember there was a quote last year, right, when Sanchez was talking about his contract. He said, yeah, it's not the best, but it's also not the worst. Something along those lines, paraphrasing.
Yes.
And he was absolutely correct, because $22 million is a good amount of money.
Well, also, and when he signed it too, I mean, like, you know,
we didn't see this coming.
We didn't. I mean, I think at the time we're like, whoa, that's like, you know, it's a club friendly deal. But also you're like, well, like, he's not Chris Sanchez with a capital C yet. Right. It's like this could still go one way or the other. It still could go, and no offense to this man, who I think might make the Cubs, this could go the Scott Kingery way, or this could go another way. And it's clearly gone the other way. Yeah.
Yeah. They absolutely saw something that made them want to reach out and get this deal done back in the summer of 2024. They envisioned something like this, probably a lesser degree, but they saw something like this coming. And it has now exceeded all of our expectations.
Well, wait, I want to say one more thing. Yeah, and here's one thing, okay? That those $30 million years they tacked on, 2031, 2032. Right now, in the year 2026, okay, we're 5-6 years out from that. He would rank right now with that AAV, a 30 AAV, that would be 9th in baseball among starting pitchers.
Yes.
Okay.
That was
in 2026. Mm-hmm. So I think part of this, and this is how the Phillies have thought about this in all these deals that they've done, is that, like, it sounds like a lot of money down the line per year, right? It's, you know, paying Aaron Nola $25 million in 2030 and Trey Turner $27 million in 2030. And Jesus Luzardo $27 million in 2030. Like, that sounds like a lot. I think the Phillies are banking on the continued trend of salaries rising and rising and rising in this sport. Because what did we say about Harper's deal in 2019? It seemed like a lot. It doesn't seem, you know, his $25 million annual salary doesn't seem like that much now. I mean, I think in every collective bargaining agreement, and again, we don't know what's going to happen next one, but the luxury tax thresholds have gone up and up and up every agreement. I think the Phillies are banking on that, or maybe they're playing, you know, 3D chess here, and there is some sort of salary cap after a year lost in 2027 of no Major League Baseball, and every contract that was signed though before 2027 is somehow grandfathered in, and whatever. But I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. But I guess I guess that's trying to see it from their perspective, is that, like, adding on 2 years and $30 million a piece seems weird that they did it now, but also is like, this doesn't mean very much to us at that point.
No, it doesn't. And I think that's an excellent contextual point to make too, because then you think ahead to the way the current, competitive balanced tax is currently set up. And this is all subject to change. Like, we could be talking about this in a completely different way this time next year. It raises his hit to $14.5 million over the life of that new deal, the new extended deal.
Yeah, John Becker, who I give credit, he's a whiz with this stuff. There's weird stuff with the AAV, and I don't fully understand it yet. I need to talk to John about it. But yes, it's a weird structure.
Now, finding a doctor is a little less challenging. United Health Group is investing in tools that make it easier for patients to navigate healthcare and pay less. These transparency tools help patients find providers, and this is the big thing: compare costs up front. The big picture? More transparent pricing benefits everyone. And these tools from United Health Group can help patients save hundreds of dollars annually. Learn more at unitedhealthgroup.com/commitment.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The lone wolf, who you thought was a good collaborator because you didn't have the right candidate insights. But once you hired them, it was all hoarding info, declining meetings, and howling at the full moon? But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can go deeper than just the resume to find you a perfect fit. By using insights from the LinkedIn network to give you a short list of best fit candidates. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/Pandora.
One iced coffee?
99 cents, please.
For real? No way. One iced coffee?
99 cents, please.
For real? No way. What a deal.
Your new morning groove. Iced coffee from McDonald's, any size for just 99 cents till 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The sun is out, the birds are chirping, and the open road is calling. Bring on the spring. at the Honda Spring Event and take that road trip you've been dreaming of. Now's the time to check out the Honda Civic and HR-V from Honda, the 2025 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value Brand.
Based on 2025 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelley Blue Book, visit kbb.com for more information.
Yeah. So all of that is probably in their minds. And I can see why they're like, no, we didn't, it's not fully magnanimous or something to blah, blah, blah. I guess they're trying to soften the blow with other owners or whatever.
I think
it makes some sense that way. But also I just look at it and celebrate it as a huge win for the player. Somebody who, yes, got some money for sure and had already locked that up, but who so exceeded that. And that's why I think this is kind of a special case and not necessarily precedent setting, even if I want it to be, where he so exceeded those expectations that it's just like, well, we don't really have much of a choice if we want to keep him happy or think about, wanting to be that way. Like, it's just good. It's just good.
Right now, he would be in 2031. He would be their highest paid player, because Schwarber comes off the books in 2030.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, right now the highest paid players for the Phillies in 2031 would be Sanchez at 30, Turner at 27.3, and Luzardo at 27.
Yeah. And following that season, we'll be talking about the next round of collective bargaining agreement points. Because I'm sure this deal is probably going to be
again,
5 years ago.
Once the asteroid hits the Earth. And
so, Matt, I just... To cap off the way you teed me up, yes, I see it as a huge win for the player and hopefully for more players in the future to be like, okay, there is a chance with this organization. A lot of organizations are probably not going to follow suit. They look at these pre-arb and early career extensions when they land them for guys who they think are going to be keystone players as wins, quote unquote, to allow them to save money. Maybe in some cases to spend it elsewhere, but usually just to save money on guys they think are going to provide more than what they would otherwise have to spend for in the free agent market. Right.
Yeah.
But I think
it's a lot to pay the guy, in his older years. And it's weird to say that about Sanchez right now, but I'm writing about this week and we've talked about this, Paul, at times. I mean, the transition of power has happened and it couldn't be any more overt in this spring when they had two press conferences to agree to their 29, more guaranteed money for their 29-year-old ace lefty and big guaranteed money for their 28-year-old ascending lefty.
Yep.
And that transition of power has happened.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully it instills some confidence in these guys that they can agree to deals when offered to them earlier in their careers by this organization and realize that if they perform,
that's a good point.
They keep playing well. Hey, there's a chance it gets renegotiated.
There should be some cascading effect there. And
yes.
I do think that there is that is some value in this. And we may never see this again, something like this.
Maybe not.
But you're right. I mean, at the very least, they can point to it and say, look, we took that Ghost Energy money and, we did right by you. So
2026, the year of the Ghost. So I was very happy. I was very happy out of nowhere to see this Sanchez news, and to see it get done. And congratulations to Chris. Congratulations to everybody who thought this was the right time to do something like this, because again, it was somewhat unprecedented, certainly for this organization. And now Chris Sanchez is going to be with this team for even longer. And so we move on to the guy who will not be with this team for quite as long and may not be part of the league for much longer after 2027. Of course, he has stated he was likely to retire. He is making his way back, though, for as much of the 2026 season as he possibly can. We started out this winter back in November thinking, all right, it would be cool if Zack Wheeler could get back maybe sometime in June or July. And as the offseason progressed and as his rehab progressed, and he moved on to the different steps of getting back onto the mound, that timeline just kept creeping sooner and sooner and sooner. Now, all of a sudden, here we are, late March, on the doorstep of opening day. And the feeling around things right now is that Zack Wheeler could be back in April.
Oh, he'll be back in April.
It's crazy to me to think that in the course of one offseason, we have moved from summer broadly.
Yes, but if you were
April.
Listening to me, and
I was skeptical though. I was hesitant.
I said I thought close, around May 1st. He's definitely even further ahead than I thought he was, but everything I'd heard in the offseason again was that this guy was pushing them. And I'm telling you, I think in the back of his mind, he was like, he wanted to be back for opening day. And I know that they were never going to do that and told him, you need to chill. He's going to Lehigh Valley on Saturday. And that starts an official 30-day clock for a rehabbing pitcher. He's not going to use all 30 days. I'd be really surprised if he does. I think he'll make at least 3, maybe 4 starts at AAA or in the minor leagues. I think it'll be 3. And if you start doing the math, that gets him back sometime during the week of April 13th. And I think this is happening as long as he doesn't have any kind of setback here. And he hasn't yet. And I'm telling you, Paul, I mean, just the way that Wheeler was talking and how he was feeling and the confidence he was projecting this spring, like, I think he's really happy with where he's at. And I think the Phillies are happy with where he's at, because if they weren't, they wouldn't be pushing it like this.
Yeah.
He'll throw 3 innings for the Iron Pigs on Saturday against Toledo. I suggested online, and this is the easiest layup promotion in minor league baseball history. It should be free spare rib night at the Piggies game. With a side of bacon, something.
It's
this is just too easy. And yeah, I mean, start doing the math, and you've got him back sometime middle of April. And the reason why he's pitching in the cold this weekend, and it does look like it's going to be pretty cold on Saturday in Allentown. One, he wants to face higher level hitters. I think the thing he was worried about on a rehab assignment, and the Phillies had him do a very controlled kind of sim game environment on Monday morning in Clearwater, and they told their low level farm hands, I think, do not swing at the first pitch. And what Wheeler's thing is, like, when he goes on, when you have a rehabbing pitcher, he's seen it a lot, and I've seen it too, is like minor league hitters want to just ambush these guys, right? Because they know that the rehabbing guy is trying to, either establish his fastball, or he's trying to get to certain sequences, because he's rehabbing. He wants to try different things out. Yeah. And a lot of times these minor league guys are going, like, they see Zack Wheeler on the mound, and they're like, I want to get a hit off this guy. I'm going to hit this guy, and I'm going to ambush him. I'm going to ambush his first pitch fastball. And it doesn't really lead to productive rehab work for a starting pitcher. So I think in AAA, he sees a better shot of getting more quality at bats and sequencing, right? Like practice, because that's essentially what it is. And 2, like, if he's coming back in mid-April, he's going to have to pitch in the cold, at least for a few weeks. And I think this is part of his process. And he's like, whatever, cold, I don't care. And it is unusual. I mean, but I think the biggest thing is less about the weather and more about the quality of hitter and just having a chance to actually get real practice, real sequencing, real at bats.
You had a chance to watch him when he took the mound toward the end of spring training in that sim game where there were no outfielders, and the catcher Jordan Disson was the one calling the balls and strikes.
Yeah.
And you noted that you were getting some readings or getting some info from watching that he was.
They were very secretive with the. There was no scouts on the backfields, and the Phillies had some of their people back there, and they were being a little cagey with the velocity. So I didn't get the actual reading. Rob Thompson said around 94, which I'm guessing he was about 93, 94. Yeah, we'll get real numbers on Saturday. When he goes to AAA. Yeah.
The important, again, contextual note you had is that's probably about where he would sit.
It's about
for
where
his first. Yeah.
Think about it. It's like basically his first Grapefruit League outing, right? Yep. That's essentially what this was. And yeah, that's about where he would be.
Need parts fast? O'Reilly Auto Parts has fast. Need them now? We've got now. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. We're O'Reilly Fast. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There's an SUV that turns the unthinkable into the unforgettable. The new Nissan Pathfinder, built for big adventures and all that family chaos. It's powered by a strong V6 engine with a 9-speed automatic transmission. Inside, it's rugged and capable, but still premium and tech-forward, with room for up to 8 passengers. It's also available with 7-passenger seating and second-row captain's chairs. With massive hauling capability, now you can bring all the gear you and your family need for unforgettable adventures. The new V6 Nissan Pathfinder. Power your adventure.
Spring starts at the Home Depot, and we are bringing the heat to your backyard this season. Fire up the flavor with our wide variety of grills for under $300, like the Next Grill 4-burner gas grill that's perfect for hosting your spring cookout. Then set the scene and turn your outdoor space into the go-to spot with patio sets for every budget. Bring it this season with grills that deliver flavor and patios that set the vibe from the Home Depot. Start your spring with low prices guaranteed at the Home Depot. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
So if we're looking ahead to the middle of April and a homestand return, which would make sense, that is one that runs from April 10th to the 19th, includes the Diamondbacks, the Cubs, and the Braves. It means potentially...
I may or may not have submitted my guess to Zack Wheeler as to when he'll return.
Oh.
And he's keeping a straight face. He asked me when, like, I keep asking him, and he's like, when do you think I'm going to be back? So I gave him my date, and I made sure to log it. So we both know what I said.
Okay. We'll check in with that when that day comes. I think as far as the cascading effect goes, the likely scenario is that Taijuan Walker gets bumped out at that point, and
we think
Tim Mesa or Zach Pop potentially is the casualty at the back end there.
Well, but yeah, Kerkering will be back before Wheeler.
And Ryan Kerkering is also set to hopefully return from his hamstring strain.
Probably April 10th.
Yeah. So really, and you noted this in your spring wrap-up story, the only really significant injury concern hanging over this team right now is around Aiden Miller and his status with this as unspecified back ailment that has kept him out of spring training games in the Grapefruit League, leaves his season start at Lehigh Valley in question.
He'll be on the IL. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really about it. I mean, it's obviously a significant name to be hurt, and to be hurt in a way that the club is being nebulous about, because it's usually not a great indicator of things, but it doesn't seem hugely significant. We'll wait to see exactly what happens. If that's it, that signals the end of a pretty successful spring, and one that should let people feel pretty good about this team coming into the year healthy and at full strength. That doesn't always happen.
I know. And I wrote, and I know some people are dinging me, and I get that. Like, I wrote to wrap up spring. I mean, I thought it was, I thought it was about as good of a spring as the Phillies could have had.
Yeah, I agree.
They had 6 weeks of, nothing crazy happened. Okay, yes, Johan Rojas got suspended. Yes, there was a very scary incident at the end of camp with Daniel Robert, a minor league reliever, who is doing well. He's out of the hospital. Everything is fine. His pitching career, I'm not sure about that, like what his future baseball career looks like. He's now had 2 cardiovascular events, in bullpen sessions in the last 6 months or so. So, obviously his health is more important than a baseball career. And no doubt those were 2 things that happened this spring that were not great. And as you said, Paul, the Aiden Miller situation is, again, certainly worth monitoring. We're monitoring the situation, and everything else, though. I mean, like we talked about they had 2 press conferences for new contracts for their 2 of their best starting pitchers. Bryce Harper went to the WC, had his moment. He's happy, seems to be in a good place. Aaron Nola had a really good spring. Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford did not faceplant. Like, I think they were going to be on the team pretty much no matter what. But it might have been a little harder if one of them was just like not great in the spring. And I mean, not great if they were just like really bad in the spring. And you're like, gosh, like, can we do this? Like, is this going to work? that didn't happen. They both held their own. And we'll see what happens. And it doesn't mean anything, but they held their own, and you feel fine about them going into the season. Adolis Garcia and Bryson Stott made some, applied some changes, look good. I mean, like there were things to like, and certainly there were things that you're like, I don't know about that, but nobody was bad enough that nobody was good or bad enough that it forced the Phillies into a rash roster decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, and nobody got hurt really.
Right.
And so I think that qualifies as a fantastic spring. And what did we say going into spring is that Zack Wheeler was the most important guy, I think, in Phillies camp. And he's beginning a rehab assignment on Saturday at Lehigh Valley. So I think they had about as good of a spring training as you could possibly imagine for them. I really do. Especially if you look at across the league, and especially in their own division, at some of the springs that other teams had, like,
oh boy,
there's a lot of bad things that are happening to teams because guys are getting hurt.
Yeah. The Braves are off to a body bag start. It's really crazy. Like that is a significant list of injuries that team has to deal with again. And it could set them back far enough early in the season that it's going to be interesting. It might make this division a 2-horse race earlier than I'm sure the Braves would want. As far as the injury situation goes, yeah, that's the whole point of spring training. Just get guys ready and keep them healthy. The record, yeah, they had a losing record. Who cares? Like that doesn't matter.
I wouldn't even be able to. You give me 10 guesses at their record, and I don't think I would get it.
I don't even know.
Did they play 30 games? Did they win?
I was going to say they're like 13-19 or something. Like I don't even know.
11 games?
I don't know.
They didn't win the Grapefruit Cup. The Golden Grapefruit. They did not win the Golden Grapefruit.
Yeah, but like that, if that's what you're looking at, okay, we need to have a chat later on. But no, the whole point is to get guys ready. And you're right that there was no outlier badness from any of the expected regulars to the point where, yeah, you'd have to think about some things, right? Like Trey Turner's numbers were not good, and he was the only one. But even he had a better spring than those numbers would suggest.
I think so. I think there's if I'm projecting some concern based off what I was watching and not the numbers, the middle of the bullpen didn't show as good as I thought it could this spring, and that might mean something. It might mean nothing. Jonathan Bolin had some moments, but mostly not great.
Right. Yep.
For the spring, it wasn't great.
Yeah, it was
Tanner
fine.
Banks' stuff is really down, and we'll see if he can recapture that. Alvarado gave up a ton of home runs. I saw him kind of going through the motions. I'm not going to lie, late in spring, and I get it
for sure. Yeah,
I get it. Brad Keller didn't have a great spring. I think you're looking more for like strike throwing, right? And like Keller did not throw. He walked too many guys. Not great strike throwing, and that was the same thing with Bolin. Whereas Backus and Meza and Pop, those guys for the most part threw strikes, and that's why they're on the team. I know there's some consternation about them carrying 4 lefties, and I get it. I mean, I think, in a perfect world, they would have had 3 lefties and 5 righties. Meza threw strikes. And early in the season, you were looking for guys who are throwing strikes and can go 2 innings. And they have probably 5 of those guys, at least 4.
Bunch
Banks,
of deep guys. Yeah.
Bolin, Meza, Pop, all can go 2 innings. Have thrown strikes. Backus probably is more than a 1 inning guy, but he could go 2 innings too. That's good because I do think that Painter and Walker will not necessarily. I mean, they treat all their starting pitchers a little differently in April, like most teams do. Like they're not necessarily pushing them. I do think Painter and Walker though will probably not be pushed like past the second time through the order early in the season, which I get, especially Painter.
Sure. Those are things we'll tackle obviously with our season preview coming later this week. But also,
what do you think of the bullpen?
I think it's fine. I started out spring being excited about this guy, but I'm very excited to see what Alex McFarland can do on this team later this summer.
Yeah, I believe he's going to start with Redding, and it's mainly a numbers game. There's a lot of veteran type relievers that have to go to AAA, and you let that kind of sift out over the first, 4 or 5 weeks of the season. Some guys will get hurt or some guys just won't be good enough, and maybe you're just going to move on from them at AAA, and then maybe McFarland, gets promoted to AAA if he continues to pitch well, maybe sometime early May or something like that, and then he really, starts to enter the picture. And yes, I mean, I think like Paul, and you tease us on the discourse. the Discord. I can't even talk. The opening day bullpen, it's always a funny thing to look back on, and this unit will change quite a bit. I don't anticipate this 8-man unit to last the season, and obviously Orion Kirkering will be a big part of that when he returns in early April, and then there'll be risers and fallers, and I think this snapshot in time, they picked a couple guys there at the back, and Pop and Meza, who are throwing strikes and go multiple innings. And yes, it doesn't look like the most flexible bullpen right now, but I don't think they are as hard-headed about keeping the current mix if they have to. Like, whereas in the past, with Jose Ruiz and Carlos Hernandez, those guys were out of options and they felt like they had to try to see it through with them. I think that was more about what they didn't have behind them at AAA. Whereas this year there's just more, and I think that they'll be more willing to make a change if they have to.
Yeah, and that's good to hear, because yes, they have adopted that stance of we don't really want to lose guys who are major league viable. But they do have some depth that seems like it could hang in there. Either with major league experience pre-existing or on the cusp of breaking in. They'll have arms to turn through. We'll get to that a little bit later this week during our spring training preview. For now, I think this is a good place to wrap it up, because we're spoiling you guys this week. You can catch us again either tomorrow or Thursday, probably tomorrow. Where we'll look ahead to the season that will be the 2026 Philadelphia Phillies as they look to defend their National League East title. I can't talk either. And get back to the playoffs again, keep this streak alive, and hopefully catch what has eluded them during this run.
And we'll play a little over, we'll do that by playing a little over-under game. It's always fun.
Yes. So thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been Phillies Therapy, part of the Believe Podcast Network. For Matt, I am Paul. We will talk to you again very, very soon.
This episode of Phillies Therapy was produced by Brian J., Briana W., CallisonGhost, Christopher S., Daniel Y., Hunter R., Ian, Jack S., Jacob, Jaedon M., Jami P., Jason G., Joe M., John S., Kaitlin M., Kodi L., Lindsay, Lisa L., Matt H., Michael W.E.I., Michael W.E.R., Robert R., Timothy G., Tom D., Tom H., Vinay V., Zach, and our anonymous supporters. Thank you all so much for your support. Again, if you'd like to learn more about becoming a supporter of the show, visit patreon.com/Phillies Therapy.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The empty seat. Who is actually just that, an empty chair in your office because you couldn't find someone to fill it. So it just sat there costing you money with all its fancy ergonomic features. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can make it easy to fill that seat with the right candidate. With nearly 60% of businesses finding someone to interview in the first week alone. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/Pandora.
Hidden value is all around you. It's in every app, transaction, and network. And chances are you have loads of it. It's your machine data. And Splunk helps you tap into it. Unify machine data and insights pop up everywhere. Discover game-changing clarity, intelligence for every decision, and a critical resource to power AI. All you need is already there. And it's fine exactly where it is. Your machine data is waiting. Let's unlock it. Learn more at Splunk.com.
Spring starts at the Home Depot, and we are bringing the heat to your backyard this season. Fire up the flavor with our wide variety of grills for under $300, like the Next Grill 4-burner gas grill that's perfect for hosting your spring cookout. Then set the scene and turn your outdoor space into the go-to spot with patio sets for every budget. Bring it this season with grills that deliver flavor and patios that set the vibe from the Home Depot. Start your spring with low prices guaranteed at the Home Depot. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
One iced coffee?
99 cents, please.
For real? No way. One iced coffee?
99 cents, please.
For real? No way. What a deal.
Your new morning groove. Iced coffee from McDonald's, any size for just 99 cents till 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
OnDeck is built to back small businesses like yours. Whether you're buying equipment, expanding your team, or bridging cash flow gaps, OnDeck's loans up to $400,000 help make it happen fast. Rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau and earning thousands of 5-star Trustpilot reviews, OnDeck delivers funding you can count on. Apply in minutes at OnDeck.com. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank. OnDeck does not lend in North Dakota. All loans and amounts subject to lender approval.